Hi, I'm Rodney Tomlin, and welcome to the 24th Annual Aeronautics AMA Amateur National Motocross Championship at Loretta Lynn. Joining me is Davey Coombs, and Davey, out on the racetrack right now, is some of tomorrow's biggest superstars.
That's right. Every top rider you see in GHQ Supercross or AMA Motocross got their start here at Loretta Lynn's ranch. Whether you're Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, Michael Leslie, they all came through the ranch. Now this year, we're going to keep an eye on some kids like Nico, Izzi, Kyle Cunningham, Eli Tomac, Sean Ripe. Those are all people you'll be seeing one day in Supercross. But right now, you get to see him here at Loretta Lynn's.
And speaking of stars, one of Loretta Lynn's biggest made a return to have a little fun on a mini cycle of his own.
So this is your mini bike race. You got to invite all the people you wanted. How'd you pick?
Well, my good friend Bidos here. We had a list. Obviously he races all the time with the mini bike stuff, so we had a list going, and we just went over together. And
he's a big fan of pit bike racing, and when we told him you could come down here and hang out, he goes, "What about pit bike?" And I said, "We'll call it the Jeremy McGrath Invitational."
Victor Sheldon, this isn't your sport, but how do you think you're gonna go?
I'm gonna go good. I'm gonna win my class.
Jeremy McGrath, Victor Sheldon, even Elvis at the Pit Bike Invitational, Davey.
That's right. Graceland, not that far away from Loretta Lynn's ranch, but Jeremy and Denny Stevenson, Tom Carson, all the guys out there having a lot of fun. You can see all the kids watching, but this was not time to get serious. That was coming up.
So the real question would be between McGrath, Jeremy Showtime McGrath, and Victor Sheldon, who would win? Jeremy, what do you think?
Well, I don't think we race each other, but I'm going to say tie. I'm going to say we're going to tie.
You're gonna tie. Victor?
I'd smoke him, man. I'd smoke him.
A lot of fun going on behind the scenes, but as things get serious, here's what that Thor track map looks like.
Well, Loretta Lynn's track is the most famous in all of amateur motocross. It's been pretty much the same since 1982, and that means the 10 Commandments, really the centerpiece of this racetrack. Right there you see Randy DeBartolo from Minnesota showing you how to get through. In the middle of the track, the big 99-foot tabletop, this is Brandon Mays, and yes, that is a KTM 65. He's jumping on. The rest of the track, it gets rutted up, it gets nasty, and as the riders go all week long, it's a totally dynamic track. No one gets lucky. No one lucks into a championship here, Rodney.
No doubt about that, Davey. 6 days of racing, 99 motos. This track takes some abuse.
Well, you can see by all the motorhomes here, it's a good thing that the weather looks like it's going to hold off because this place is getting muddy. It may be Loretta Lynn's home, but for 1 week out of the year, it is the capital of the amateur motocross world.
And kicking every race week off here at Loretta Lynn's, as always, the riders meeting, Davey.
Yeah, and this year everyone got a special treat in this. Loretta Lynn herself came out and said hello to all the riders and their families and just really welcomed them to her ranch. You know, Loretta's been doing this since 1982, and sometimes people are like, well, why Loretta Lynn? Why motocross? Well, I think she just really loves the sport and the families.
And our Jason Wygant standing by with her right now.
Loretta Lynn, most people don't like dirt bikes in their backyard. Most people don't have backyards this big, but you have a big backyard and there's a lot of motorcycles here, but you seem to like it.
I do. I like it.
It's a family atmosphere here, and it seems to fit with what you want to have with the ranch.
Yeah, and the same ones just about come back every year, only some of them get bigger and bigger, and then they bring their kids, so it gets bigger every year.
Yeah, the riders get bigger, and the event gets bigger, too. I know it's come a long way in 24 years.
24 years.
So you're telling me you're not tempted to take a couple laps when this is all over next week?
Oh, Alan usually brings me in on a motorcycle. Oh, yeah, and tonight he didn't, but usually we're riding motorcycles.
And coming up next is Time to Go Racing here from Loretta Lynn's on the Outdoor Life Network.
Jeff Tilt, full tilt, man, going upside down. What's it like out here at Loretta Lynn's?
This is amazing. You know, it's a different part of motorcycling, but, you know, we all love to ride dirt bikes. That's what it's all about.
This is where all our guys that ride freestyle now came from. They're all veterans from here. This is definitely home to them. I know Renner's been riding here since he was a really young guy. That's one of the best things about coming up here. I like to see the younger generation coming up and riding and just watching them kill it. I mean, some of these kids, I'm amazed at how big they're going now and how hard they're riding. So it's definitely good to see that.
It's amazing how far Renner and the guys have come since they actually just tried to get their timing straight through the 10 Commandments, Dave.
Yeah, that's right. And that whip you just saw Renner do, that's one that got on the cover of Racer X Illustrated. There you see Mike Jones, another Loretta Lynn's graduate, doing a no-handed lander. But yeah, the sport's come a long way. The Red Bull people brought the freestylers in to give the kids something to watch. They saw the first backflip on the start stretch. Unfortunately, it wasn't Travis Pastrana like I always thought it would be.
And of course, nighttime activities right back into the daytime activities and the racing action.
action. And speaking of racing action, here's what it looked like through our Scott Goggles helmet cam.
Yes, we had Ryan Holiday, the new AMA sports manager for motocross, get out there and take a couple laps. And as you can see, the berms, just starting to set up. This is early in the week, going through the 10 Commandments. That's what it looks like. Even the kids on the mini bikes will probably be pounding through there a little quicker. You exit, you head into the back, and look, lines from end to end. This is what it looks like coming up to the big tabletop in the middle. Ryan doesn't get all the way over it, but you'll be seeing kids as young as 7 years old clearing that thing on 65s. Loretta Lynn has to be competitive, not only for the big kids, the pro sport riders like Randy Filippoto and Jason Lawrence, but also for the little guys.
51cc 4-6 Class 1 now. So we take a look at that Pump X hole shot.
Well, right off the bat, it was Mark Worth from Arizona really establishing himself as the kid to beat in this class. There you see him, number 33. He took control of the first moto and just pretty much rode away. And, the thing about this class, Ronnie, is no one really knows anyone because they're all so young. This is basically what they call Class A racing, which means it's stock. So they're all on pretty much even bikes, but it was Mark Worth running away with the first moto.
Young gets second, and Carter Stevenson, the guy that actually got the hole shot in Moto 1, rounds out the top three as we head to Moto number 2 now.
And there you see Worth coming up again on the inside, going to go around the outside this time and take over the lead. Right there, he is battling with number 26, Tanner Morris. He's all the way out from Washington, but in the end, once again, Mark Worth all alone. Remember that name. A lot of people talk about Adam Cincerello. Don't leave this kid out of the future because I think he's got a great one coming up.
It was Worth, Young, and Morris rounding out the top 3 in Moto number 2 as we head to Moto number 3 now.
Well, to no one's surprise, Worth once again got the whole shot on the inside and was able to put a solid 1-1-1 sweep into the books. You don't see that a lot, especially in these classes. But Mark Worth, like I said, a really talented youngster, and we'll be seeing a lot of them right there. That's number 24, Carter Stevenson, who will eventually end up second. He is from Missouri, and rider falling down right there. But in the end, it didn't matter. Mark Worth, all the way out front, wins his first national championship.
And a tough break for Michael Young, the number 98, finishing second in the first 2 motos, DNFs in Moto number 3.
Yeah, that was the real hard luck story, but keep an eye on all these names. You will be seeing more of them in the future.
Next, we head to our 65cc modified 7 to 11-year-olds, Davey, and this one was a barn burner right off the bat.
Well, we already caught a glimpse of Brandon Mays jumping the big tabletop in the middle of the track. Here he is following Jacob Hayes. Now, Hayes and Mays would be the big rivals all week long, going back and forth in both the stock and the modified class. But in the modified class, it was Brandon Mays, the champion.
Brandon Mays got a championship. It's got to feel good, buddy.
Yeah, it does.
You said you surprised yourself a little bit. Did you expect to win?
I was just hoping to get a second, and I just came out on top on the start, and I won the race.
Well, Mays wins the 65cc modified class as we take a look at our Thor overall results, but it's Hayes who gets redemption in the stock class as we take a look at that Pump X product spotlight.
Well, arm pump is one of the worst things a racer has to deal with, and it gets worse when the pressure's on here at Loretta Lynn's. But we're here with Greg from Pump X. You have a product designed to prevent arm pump.
Correct. What our product is, it helps the rider, or help any athlete essentially, deliver oxygen and glycogen to the muscle. And what that does is aid in recuperation, aid in oxygen delivery. Therefore, you don't have the lactic acid buildup that you normally would have by doing an endurance event. So the Pump X, it supplies more oxygen and glycogen to your muscle, and therefore, most of the time, you're not going to get any arm pump, and you're going to aid in recovery and recuperation. So right when you get done riding, the next day, if you have another moto, you'll feel almost essentially like you didn't even ride the day before.
And Pump X is 100% safe for riders of all ages, even our youth riders?
Correct. It is 100% natural. Everything in there, you can go to your health food store and buy just the proprietary blend on the product. There's no caffeine, there's no stimulants, there's nothing in it that will crash you like sugar drinks or anything like that, or any other type of stimulant with caffeine or ephedrine in it.
All right, check out pumpx.com. Arm pump, a big issue when the pressure's on in motocross. With Pump X, don't have to deal with that anymore.
Well, the pressure on now for a modified 85cc 12 to 13-year-old class, Davey.
Well, this one was star-packed. If you're into mini-cycle racing at all, you've heard of names like Eli Tomac, Blake Wharton, Blake Baggett, Jake Canada. Out front was Sean Wright, followed by Zeb Smith. A lot of Hondas up front, but Justin Barcia would be the rider that gets hot. There you see Barcia right there, number 51. But before he can get after Wright, he's got to get around Smith, who hails from North Carolina.
And of course, this first moto going to belong all to Sean Reif, but of course not before Barcia tried to work his way to the front.
Right there, that could have cost him the championship because all 3 motos count here, but the kid was smart. He took his time, he got back on the bike, and he would finish 3rd.
It goes Reif, Tomac, Barcia, and Ty Simmons rounding out the top 4.
The second moto, Barcia gets a much better start, and this is where he got hot. Right there you see Blake Wharton is actually the leader, but Barcia coming up behind him. Wharton had his problems in the first moto all the way back in 11th. Once Barcia gets out in front, he starts to pull away, and this is important because all 3 motos count. Barcia will have a 3 and a 1 going in the last moto as Eli Tomac, another late charge. He has to come up and dispatch of Wharton. Tomac will have a 2-2, and that basically sets up a winner-take-all 3rd and final moto between Tomac and that rider right there, Barcia.
And of course, Barcia holds on for the win. Tomac in 2nd. Blake Wharton drops back to 3rd, but a respectable finish there in moto number 2.
Well, definitely a rebound, but this last moto, like I said, winner take all, and this time again, Barcia gets out front. Tomac, meanwhile, you see him in the back. He's behind the KTM of Ty Simmons, who is steady, consistent all week long, and this really cost Tomac because before he can even get a shot at Justin Barcia, he's got to get around Simmons, tries a wide outside line here, but you know, the timing just adds up, and in the end, this rider...
Whoa! Barcia getting a little out of shape, flat ground in that tabletop, Davey.
Yeah, that could have cost him the championship as well. Look at that. He comes down flat wheel from 99 feet, but Justin Barcia takes the win.
Yeah, I went down once, and then I overshot the tabletop, so it was a really good ride, though, you know.
Our Thor scoreboard looking like this. Barcia taking the overall, Eli Tomac in 2nd, and Ty Simmons rounds out your top 3 with Sean Reif back in 4th.
And by the way, Barcia would win another class, the stock class as well.
And coming up, we've got our 105 Super Mini and more when we return here on the Outdoor Life Network. Welcome back to Loretta Lynn's, and check out some of the big names that stopped by to pay a visit, Davey.
Yeah, Chad Reed, Ricky Carmichael, Ivan Tedesco, they all came to say hi to the kids and also watch some people that might be their future competition, and no one made a bigger impression than this kid right here, Nico Izzi. Everyone kind of knew that he would be the man to beat in the senior mini classes, 105cc, 85cc, and there you see Trent Pugmire taking an outside line through the whoops, but Izzi was really in a class by himself the first couple motos of the 105, and part of that was because Kyle Cunningham, you know, one of the main threats, DNF'd the first moto, so Pugmire would come across in 2nd, but Izzi, the Suzuki-supported rider, out front, in control, all through the week, and this kid is going to make an instant impression, I think, in the pro ranks. He's very smooth, he's very comfortable, and when he gets on a bigger bike that probably fits him a little better, I think that he'll be a threat right off the bat.
Taking a look at moto number 3 now. Once again, things get down to business in our Super Mini class.
Well, this time Cunningham got the start he wanted. He is out front on the Team Green Kawasaki. Izzi trying to put all of the knowledge to work that he's picked up from his coach, Ron Titchener, down there in Florida. And he's got his hands full, especially right after that big get-off. He swapped out going through the mechanics area, and that left the door wide open for Kyle Cunningham to pull away. But the real drama was, could Izzi get back into a position to win the championship? And indeed he did. So Nico Izzi ends his mini-cycle career with a frantic last moto ride to recover from that big crash. He cannot catch Cunningham, but he does win the championship with a 1-1-2.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of glad I got it done on the first and a half lap, because that was definitely a hard crash, and I know I had time to come back where I was. Thankfully, I didn't get hurt.
So the Nico Izzi mini-cycle era comes to an end with a championship. Trent Pugmire takes 2nd, and Les Smith rounds out the top 3. Now let's take a look at our KTM Team Spotlight.
And as KTM has been very supportive for the mini bikes all these years, and you know that we are pioneer on building the KJSC bikes, and for the last 9 years, you know, that the kids are our future. They are the champions of tomorrow. You know, we put all the effort in the kids program, and many riders that we built up, even like Zach Osborne, Michael Izzi, they all came from this mini cycle.
The bikes are great this year, and hopefully we can pick up a championship right now.
Right now it's Brandon Mays and Levi Hall, and those guys are really good, and they're coming up from the 65 and 85. Jesse Nelson is one of them coming out from the 65 class, and then he's just moving up to the 85 class. You know, we're building up all this 50 class riders on, you know, so many of them. You can see the 75% up that all KTMs over here.
They're a really good team and everything, and it's really elite on KTM's team, and I just thought it would be a good idea, and it ended up paying off for me.
And Zach Osborne, our favorite in the 125cc modified 12 to 15-year-olds, Davey.
Well, it sure looked like that off the start, coming around the inside on that KTM 125. All the bikes in this class, Ronnie, are restricted to 2-stroke 125cc's. So it sounded like old school motocross with the Tiddlers out there. Right there, Austin Stroupe, top young up-and-coming rider, goes down, but Osborne out front, in control, and like everyone expected, he was the leader after the first moto. The second moto, though, is when things started to go downhill for Osborne. First of all, that is Ryan Dungey, number 12, coming up, and also Austin Stroupe. A big three-way battle for the lead right here. And then Osborne coming out of the corner in the back. Down he goes. That was a very unlikely mistake. Dungey goes by, Stroupe goes by, a whole pack of riders that really opened the door. It showed a little bit of weakness on Osborne's part, and now Stroupe is getting ready to take advantage. They're both chasing after Dungey, but in the end, as you can see, Osborne somehow able to hold off Austin Stroupe and get second. But this rider right here, Ryan Dungey, remember that name. He might be the best hope Minnesota's had since the late, great Donnie Schmidt. And in the third moto, there he is out front, and that's Ben Lamay. Speaking of distant hopes, he's from Alaska. And you see him battling right there with Osborne. This is the battle for second, though, because Dungey out front on his Suzuki. Osborne really needs to get up there. And there you see Lamay go down. Needs to get up there to challenge Dungey. He can't get it done, and Dungey is our champion.
I just can't believe how far I've worked so hard this year. I've trained my butt off just for this race.
Dungey takes the championship, Osborne in second, and Austin Stroupe rounds out the top three, but Stroupe will also rebound to take a stock class championship. Now let's check in with our Thor Rider Spotlight and Jason Wygant.
Mark Worth, show everybody what you've done this week, man. Show off those gold medals. 3 gold medals, a championship. You got to be happy, buddy.
Yeah,
How much fun is it to come down here?
it's fun. Very fun.
Trained real hard. Yeah, we rode at least 4 days a week to get him prepared mentally and physically so he could run, a full 15-minute moto. So
I didn't get the full shot the first 2 motos, but the last moto I got the whole shot. I started to pull away. I hit the double, but I cased a little bit, so I didn't do it. And they rolled me in, so I got the checkered flag.
Thor's been a blessing. They've been great to us. They've treated us great, and we wear the Thor gear proudly. So.
Coming up, the women's class and more, plus a special story you don't want to miss here on the Outdoor Life Network. Welcome back to Loretta Lynn's as we head to our women's class, and as promised, a great battle, Davey.
Well, there you saw Jessica Patterson sweep along the outside on the big 450 Honda. She was the pre-race favorite, especially after Tara Geiger, last year's champion, went down at the last minute with an injury. So that left Leah Cantrell and Sara Whitmore to chase after Florida's Patterson. In the first moto, they can't get it done, and she takes the win. But the second moto, the girls seemed motivated, and the whole pack seemed to go after Jessica en masse. Right there, you see Cantrell trying the outside. Whitmore riding a YZ250 on the inside. This time, Cantrell tries an outside line, but through it all, Patterson able to hold on, although Whitmore almost couldn't right there. But Patterson looking for the championship, and then late in the moto, here comes Sara Whitmore. They're coming through the last section of whoops before they get the white flag. You see Patterson out front, and right there, an uncharacteristic mistake. She lets her wheels go out from under her, and then it gets worse. Right when Jessica gets back up on her bike, another rider, Diana Connor, slides into her, and you see that bike get turned upside down. Not the thing that you want to have happen to a 4-stroke. It makes it even harder to start. As you can see right here, just both wheels go right out from under her as she gets the white flag. Jessica tried to keep it going. In fact, the bike was running, but this time she gets taken out by Connor, who really had nowhere to go, and that's really going to cost her. By the time she gets back up and running, she is all the way back in 9th. So Whitmore goes in the last moto with a 3-1. She does not have to beat Patterson. As a matter of fact, she does it. Her and Cantrell kind of lay back and let Patterson get the win, but in the end, your overall winner will turn out to be Sara Whitmore.
Winning this race means so much to me. I don't know how people can be so emotionless when they stand up here, because I work all year just to come up here and win this championship. It's the only thing that's important to me.
The hard work pays off for Whitmore as Cantrell takes second and Patterson will have to settle for third. Now we check in with Jason Wygant with a special story.
All right, we're here with one of the great stories in motocross, our 2004 AMA Sports Youth Racer of the Year. It's Ashley Fiolek and her father, Jim. She's a deaf rider, but she is an incredible rider, and it's really a great story how fast she's able to go. And Ashley, now you're in the big girls class. How tough is it to race against those riders?
Definitely more difficult. It's a great challenge, so I really look forward to every race. It's a lot of fun. I'm a little underpowered on my motorcycle, but that makes it more of a challenge, and it's a lot of fun for me.
Last year, did you think you could win that championship? You won all 3 motos. How hard was that?
Well, I wasn't sure when I showed up here. I was in good shape, and I really trained hard. I wasn't sure I could win all 3, but once I got out front, I was able to check out and run my own race, so it became a little easier for me.
Rodney, one thing to keep in mind about Ashley Fiolek, well, girls like Jessica Patterson, Sara Whitmore, on top of their game, none of them have ever made it to a professional supercross and actually qualify. And a lot of people are thinking that this young lady right here might be the one with the technique, the tools, and the real potential to finally get it done.
A truly inspirational story. Well, that'll do it from the 24th Annual AMA Aeronautiques Amateur National Motocross Championship from Loretta Lynn's. For Davey Coombs, I'm Rodney Tomlin. So long, everyone, and thanks for joining us. And next week, it's time for the ATVs.